Everybody, it's the Mad Master here. I'm doing a video today about a very interesting subject that I've kind of explored the last year and a half. And here's a book about it that I recently bought. You can see Cosmos and Psyche by Richard Tarnas. I guess this is an occult video, but it's actually another video about what I've been doing about it. About a subject I've been doing a lot about, the videos about it the last year and a half, and that is the you know what virus. Now, I originally got into some of this stuff because I was like, I had this breakup and I was like getting all this new age stuff. Like, it's pretty typical for me. Like, I'll get these new age books and be like, oh, how am I gonna live my life without her? I want her back. I'm gonna try to manifest my ex-girlfriend back. Oh my God, I lost her, and all this stuff. And then I was like reading these, I was looking at these tarot readings and all this shit. And then I was started watching astrology videos. I'm just like, I've always been kind of fascinated with it, even as a kid. And as far as do I believe it, as you were about to find out in this video, there's some real questions of whether or not the pseudoscience, woo idea of this whole thing is real or not. So I go back to last year, I was watching all these videos, Aaron Doty, and I got into Joseph Ally. I kind of transitioned into just like regular life stuff after I kind of got over the breakup and stuff, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna try some of this stuff. And I haven't really done as much, and I also got into Neville Goddard and all that too. So I haven't done as much of this stuff lately. I was getting into A Course in Miracles for a couple weeks. Probably get back on that track too because I missed a couple days. I don't really do the exercises like they prescribe, but it is what it is. So trying to get back to a semblance of how I felt before December of 2019, which I like a lot of symbols and themes and drama and stuff. I like these ideas in life that maybe people think it's dramatic or theatrical. Like me and my friend is like, we're kind of like into the theatrical kind of things. When we do things, I guess you'd say it's just like, I don't know, very big picture kind of things in life. Like, that's basically what I'm into, and that's what I basically prescribe to. It's the nuances and the details that I get caught up in. Oh, that might be astrological because I'm a Gemini. So one of the things I started watching as a crisis of last year and going into this year has happened is are all these astrology prediction videos. And one of them was the Astrology podcast. See, I've had this, so I'm gonna relate to this to another interest I've had is chaos magic and the occult, and I got into Anton LaVey 20 plus years ago now, and all this stuff, and just a lot of Aleister Crowley, and I'm gonna say it the right way for Christ's sake. Even if I play a role-playing character in one of our role-playing games, God, I want to play that one again. That's so fun. Who's supposed to be an ancestor of Aleister Crowley, but everybody calls him Crowley in the game. But whatever. Ebenezer Crowley is my fake ancestor, World of Darkness mage character in a game from the 1700s. So, anyways, enough about role-playing. I might go into that later too. Not in this video, I mean do more videos about role-playing stuff, because I've been into that since I was a kid too, but didn't really get into it until about 11, 12 years ago, like hardcore, like actually doing it regularly. It was every few years I'd play a game, and then I'd be like, well, I want to start a group, and I never did. And then finally a friend from middle school ran into me at a improv group in 2009, and I've been doing it ever since with this group of people. So Yes, even through the pandemic. Oh my God, in person. Yeah, it's everybody had the Action Jackson pretty much. So, and the jabba dabba do, the code words I use. So, this whole thing with this astrology thing just freaked me out more recently, and then I was watching the astrology. So, anyways, I was going back to the chaos magic thing. So this chaos magic thing got me into this guy, Gordon White, who has this Rune Soup blog and Rune Soup like group that I'm part of too, and I think I paid $10 a month or something for it. I haven't done enough of their classes yet, but has all their courses and all this. You can like type in manifest. Maybe I shouldn't go. Maybe I shouldn't talk about all this, but you can do a lot of stuff in the if you join his website. I'll just say that. Not going to give away all the secrets of his website. Just visit it. So I read about him years ago because I was kind of getting into that. I was reading some of his blog posts, listening to some podcasts, and then I kind of crossed paths with the astrology thing last year because this Austin Kopik is a astrologer that he has regularly on his podcast. So, and then Austin Kopik also goes on the Astrology podcast, it's called. And Chris Brennan, Kelly Surtees, and she just quit, but I don't know who else is going to be the co-host now, but one of the co-hosts. But they did these predictions for 2020 and 2021, which is weird. And also Austin Kopik, who was on Gordon White's podcast last year and this year, doing these prediction podcasts and stuff and prediction videos. Kelly Surtees did her own prediction videos. So one of the things that really is curious about one of these or of several of these podcasts and videos that they've done is this notion that 2021 in May we would have this freedom period, and like, you know, as far as the virus goes and stuff, and like everything would look good, and you know, and then it would go through the summer a little bit, you know, towards the end of July, and then something would happen where we would be back in some of this stuff, at least like Chris Brennan of the Astrology podcast says that we gotta go back and revise a lot of the stuff we were doing because it didn't work or something like that, or just this is actually in their podcast from December of 2020. They talked about this, like something, you know, it's these general ideas, it's generalities, but you interpret it in such a way that it's like, what the fuck? So, and it's not like I support, you know, like I've said in my videos before, I don't support like having a mandate forever, or, you know, all this stuff, and, you know, all these ideas that I'm opposed to a lot of these things for civil liberties reasons, right? But it wasn't like he said, oh, we have to have, the mandates have to come back or something like that. But the general sense is like it has to be revised. We'll go back to before that May period with how the world is in society. So Kelly Surtees on her podcast said that, or her videos on YouTube, you could look at her channel too, said that we would have this like travel, it would be travel to that period. Things would open up in May of 2021, and it would last until end of July as well. Like this, you know, there'd be, you know, at least this little period of time where we would have this freedom, and, you know, it was virus related too. So this is really interesting because she had this, I think it was May or June of last year, she did this video. And if you look at it, I think it's the Jupiter and Capricorn video, if you find that on her channel. Austin Kopik also talked about it on Gordon White's podcast. Now, Gordon White is very black-pilled about the current crisis. He says that eventually liberty will win, but he lives in Australia. What do you expect? You know, the worst one on the planet right now, the worst lockdowns. So he's worried about it more. I mean, as far as America, he still says we'll be better than Europe and stuff and next year and whatever. I don't know what I believe about this, but he said that. That's his interpretation analysis. Austin Kopik, though, and him also said there's to be this period of time in May of 2021 through end of July. May 13th through end of July. So this is all documented stuff. It's not like I'm pulling this shit out of thin air. You go listen to those podcasts yourself. It's just really strange that these people predicted this, because when it came to pass, and I'm talking about the United States, I'm not talking about the rest of the world, I'm just talking about the United States. Obviously, there were a lot of challenges in other regions and stuff. And I don't know why it's so U.S. centric in these podcasts. They weren't trying to be U.S. centric necessarily, but the CDC. Oops, I leaked that out. Okay, I'll say the cat dog cat. The cat dog cat pulled, rescinded all the mandates at that point in time, and said fully, jabba dabba dude people could go places. There would be an honor system. No masks, blah, 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 right? May 13th. And what happened on May 13th? Well, so this whole thing started, as far as what I know, is that there was this is just crazy shit. I don't know if I believe, I don't know what I believe with astrology, but what happened was there was this placement of planets in, starting December 2nd of 2020, or no, sorry, December 2nd of 2019. And thinking back to that period, it was, the difficulty started in that point. Jupiter went into Capricorn, and then also Saturn in Capricorn, and there was Pluto in there, and there was all these things. There was these placements. Some of them hadn't happened for hundreds of years. Some of them, I know that some of them hadn't happened for 39 years. Some of it hadn't happened in 10, 12 years. So there was all these things, all these placements. That's when a year later, the Grand Conjunction happened, and it's all connected with this. So, these people have said, these astrologers have said, that these conjunctions happen in Earth signs for 200 years. And we had the Industrial Revolution, everything was about property and material possessions and all this stuff. And this age of iron, or air, not air, the age of iron and earth and all this stuff. That's how they kind of, I'm trying to say this in the most articulate way possible, and I can't, because I'm always hopped up on caffeine. I'm just thinking about all this other stuff, so I have a hard time not stammering some of the time. But so that's what happened, and then that's ending in this 2-year period of 2019 through 2021. So there's all these problematic placements in December of 2019, and a lot of it, like the astrology podcast, especially in 2020 or December 2019 is when they did their 2020 prediction. They talked about restrictions because of Saturn being there, and then Capricorns is, and Jupiter and Saturn and Capricorn, and don't misquote my astrological knowledge. I'm just giving you this general sense. It may not be the exact placement I'm saying, but the Capricorn was in there somehow. And it's this restrictions, isolation. Let's see what else. All these things would be themes for 2020, right? Isolation, restriction, lack of movement, all these things. So this is all documented stuff. Like I said, this is in their podcast. If you look at the date on YouTube, December 29th, 2019 or something like that. It's just really strange. I mean, it might be been a little bit earlier, the predictions for 2020. So they said this, and then it was there would be no hugging in March of 2020. It's some offhand comment one of them said, and it was I mean, obviously people hugged in March of 2020, all right, but it's this whole notion, the feeling, the vibe. If you want to, it's not specific words, it's not specific things. There will be a lockdown in March of 2020 across the world. No, they didn't say that, but there will be this restrictive feeling, this restrictive aura, this sense of confinement, isolation. And looking back on that, well, I guess it could have been anything, right? Oh, let's interpret it this different way. No, it's very specific. It's specific without being specific. That's my point. So, and then when they talked about, so Jupiter was in went in Aquarius for a short period of time. That was when a lot of the remote stuff happened and all these things. They explain it better than I can, like with the technology in Aquarius and all the Neptune or whatever. It's very interesting stuff. So, but they were predicting, all of them pretty much, that May 13th through July 28th, 2021 would be this little taste, this little teaser of what's going to happen more of 2022, of freedom and dreaminess and like this freedom of movement, and maybe almost like overindulging in things like, remember when they said the summer of fucking or whatever? I mean, it didn't happen really as much as they said, but at least not my life. Unfortunately, I almost did actually a couple times, but but it's like it was this weird thing. So I mean, I can relate it to my own life. December of 2019 was when we started to take these calls in my job that were more along the lines of what a frontline person, or not frontline workers. I mean, frontline as in a call center, like would take. We didn't, because we were sort of managers, middle management sort of. We didn't have to take those calls, but now we were like being made at certain points to take these calls more. It was like everybody was groaning because this is like the beginner shit, right? That we're supposed to like ascend above. So there were some other things in my life that I'm not going to share in this video that happened in that time, which in my memoirs, when I write them, which I will write in one time, one day, and it's totally pretentious, but I don't give a shit. I made fun of an ex-girlfriend because she was 26 years old and wanted to write her memoirs already. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So one day I'll share what happened, but all this stuff, and then I was having problems with a girlfriend who was now next to December. That's when the really real problems started. And I felt confined, So, and my moon sign is Capricorn, so I mean that's it rules my emotions supposedly. So, which explains a lot of my contradictory things that I have going on, like the stability, but just the craziness and stuff. But anyway, it's crazy. Look around here, So this started, and it was just like, didn't really come to fruition until February. I got super depressed in 2020, and then it was a sense of confinement and feeling of being trapped in this thing. So, but come May of 2021, it was like, it took a while for our county to lift the mask mandate, but I mean, of course it's back in action now, but everything was open. Oh, it was like, wow, go to bars and wow. That whole summer, I mean, not the whole summer, but that small period of time, 2.5 months, it was just incredible. And then July 28th, because of the Delta, I'm just going to use codes, the Delta Airlines variant, Delta Airlines came in, we got to worry about this. Let's just, these mandates are back, or a lot of them are, not all of them, obviously. I mean, you can still have people outside your household in your house and stuff without having to pay $1,000, but you're supposed to all wear masks, even though people don't. Nobody does. It's almost symbolic it's almost arbitrary at this point. So that happened. It still pisses me off, of course, but that happened, and we've been through that since. So what I'm leading up to in this video is that all these events occurred, and they're real documented things that these astrologers were predicting in 2019 through 2021. And this what they're predicting is at the end of December 28th to be exact, or around that date. I'm just going to give you a sense of what to look forward to here. So, and I'm going to try to speculate what I think is going to happen. And I could be totally wrong. There was one video I did last year where I said the virus is going to end in October or November, because I watched David Katz, and I was like following him for a while. I was like, oh, he's right. No, he wasn't right. And an end is probably never going to happen entirely anyways, because endemic, So the whole thing with this December of 28th, through the new year until like mid-May, to me that symbolizes like basically going back, let's think about what was happening in May of 2021, mid-May through July 28th. Well, basically people were living like they did before, December 2019, if you buy into that theory, which in my personal life I do, okay? Or before March 2020, either way. So it's a sense of freedom, of this dreamy, I don't want to call it idealism, but just like this dreaminess. There's a lot of, just look into what it means, these definitions. And a little worried about my space running on my phone again, but anyways, I'm going to try to wrap this up pretty soon. So this sense of reality that, things are getting back to normal. Okay, so like Austin Coppock said specifically, maybe we'll make it through this or something in one of the prediction videos, like about December 28th. But thinking back to that, so let's speculate what's going to happen. Well, there's a lot of resistance against mandates right now. Southwest Airlines, all this stuff going on. We don't even know what's true or what's not anymore. And Biden is not very popular. Let's go Brandon, right? So I don't know. I really don't know the extent of how the numbers are going to look in December, how people are going to live. And I've speculated about this before. It's like most of these variants and stuff, and most of the way that this virus works is it's these 2-month cycles. If you have 5.5 months, or is like 5.5 months or whatever, where Jupiter is in Pisces or whatever, just like the May 13th through July 28th of the summer of 2021, how is that going to happen? How is there going to be another variant or something, that takes 5 months? It wouldn't take 5 months, is my point. So I'm thinking that it could be done. Francois Boulou, who is a well-respected epidemiologist, believes it's December of 2021. He said that back in early this year, and I think last year, like that was his prediction. And it's not like the Italian asshole has said that too much. He always changes his fucking mind about that. I mean, he originally said that. But I'm talking about America, okay? I'm just talking about the United States, the West, whatever. I'm sorry. I mean, the rest of the world does exist, and who knows what's going to happen with that. I know Big Pharma is going to try to make a bunch of money from that shit. Who knows with the rates and everything everywhere else. But if you look at worldwide graph, which I did yesterday, I was like really surprised because it is going down, the cases and stuff worldwide. Not in England right now for whatever reason. India is still the same as it was when it went through all that shit. So I truly believe that a lot of the freedoms that we had from May 13th to July 28th will come back in end of December. I could be very well wrong. This could all be bullshit. If nothing happens, if things get worse, or if nothing happens in December, then to me astrology is bunk, because this has been the weirdest time looking at this stuff I've ever done. I used to look at people's birthdays on school, like school schedules and stuff, like on teachers' desks. This is a weird admission. I was like really interested in like what sign like girls I had crushes on were in high school. I used to do that all the time. Oh, she's a Sagittarius. Oh, that's interesting, But so it's a true fact, by the way. But yeah, I think December 28th could be there will be something, I think that there'll be some announcement, there'll be some rescinding of something. The extent I can't predict, because they're really pushing this hard, right? Really pushing a lot of these things hard in these certain directions. But to think that we had that period of time where basically it was free for all, it was honor system, which is kind of a mistake in a way, but like, maybe not, I mean, depends on what your position is. I happen to believe we should have this is just my personal belief. I think mandates are just, there should be incentives and not mandates. If they really want to push things where they want to be, incentives, not mandates. It's just like the war on drugs, the war on communism, all this stuff. It makes things worse for a long time until some outside factor cures or stops it. Just like with, you could say, well, Reagan bankrupted the Soviet Union. They were already going to shit over years. It failed as a system because it failed. It didn't fail because of the Cold War. Cold War killed millions of people, in third world countries that the corporations of America wanted to exploit. Of course, the communists were on the other side, and they're not any better, when it comes down to it. But it really, well, some of the leftists were, but not the actual communists usually, unless they had like a coalition government or something that softened that crazy side of Marxism and stuff. But it's getting off track. But yeah, it was outside forces that destroyed it, just like with all this stuff. So that really is kind of an allegory for what's going on now. None of these things worked to get the virus. It just kind of had to go its course, right? So, or maybe, let's just say, speculate, maybe. So I think December 28th will be a day that I celebrate, because I'm actually timing out the release of my new album on that date too, just because I felt like it. I thought it was kind of cool, like just thinking about this concept, and the songs that I have to finish will probably be done by then, because I'm taking a week for each song. This week I'm not doing any more songs for my album because I have this interview tomorrow, which is really important, of this job position that I might get, which will save my mental health forever, by the way. But yeah, it's really interesting. So in conclusion, though, we're not in conclusion. I'm not going to end the video right yet. But I should just say, to sum it all up, do I think that they were going to rescind everything on December 28th? No, I don't think everything will be rescinded. I don't think the whole thing will be over. But there's a good chance that those feelings of that freedom will be more solid as far as this whole thing goes, because there was that sense in May, when I started going out to bars, which I'm going to start going out anyways now, probably pretty soon again, but like once I get I have a lot of stuff that I'm doing right now that I want to get done, but it's until I start doing all this socializing and stuff again, more hardcore. Do I think there's something's going to happen? I don't know what it is. I don't know how it's going to manifest itself, to use that term. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I think there's a lot of surprises to come. I don't think 2022 is going to be as bad as Gordon White predicts or Austin Coppock says, but I don't think it's going to be like some kind of rosy time because of the Jupiter and Pisces for 10 months or 8 months out of the year or whatever it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it'll be somewhere in between, but I think that there's a really good chance that December 28th rolls around and there is that sense of freedom that's more lasting than last time, because we knew, I don't know, man, this is, it's like, we knew that there was something. I mean, we've looked at the rates and stuff. Oh, what's this going on here in this country? Oh, it's just a matter of time when we're in the face nest. I hate it, but anyways, yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm hoping for the best. I hope that this fucking thing's finally over, just everything. And that's why I talk about my life, because I kind of frame it in those terms, like December 2019, things started to go down in my life, and June for me, because June was when the mandates got rescinded in my town, because they took 2 more weeks because they're fucking, whatever. But it's like, do I think that there's going to be a sea change in the way that everything's going? No, not necessarily. I'm just maybe a skeptic, still too much of a skeptic just to believe that it's just all going to go away December 28th necessarily. But do I think there's something big on the horizon? I think there is. I think there will be that sense that we're finally over this shit and get back to, Chris Brennan said it'll be like this before December 2019. That's what he said in the fucking podcast. They all agreed on this. All these 3 astrologers. What can happen? It's only fucking 2.5 months, less than 2.5 months away. We're almost there. I mean, we just gotta survive. I'm not saying like if you're holding on for dear life, like we just gotta survive, like in Australia or something with the lockdowns and how like fascist they are. Like you have to have this app that you sign in, show your face every couple hours or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know, but it's like, are they gonna be over that? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they'll. I don't think it's sustainable, any of these things, because people are too awake. You know, they're not woke, but they're awake because they're just like, they've read George Orwell all their lives. They've read, you know, V for Vendetta, the original comic, and they've fucking, you know, watched Alex Jones and laughed. But, you know, or they, you know, they know about big pharma, or they know about all this shit. It's just like, you can't control a population that has all this knowledge and all this belief. You can't brainwash people as easily as you used to be able to with social media and stuff. I was watching Michael Malice last night on Joe Rogan. Like, he's like, you know, it's just like, it is different now than it was when the Iraq War was being sold and stuff. You can't have people live under dystopia forever. It's just, it's impossible to have that. Now, it's just, it doesn't seem sustainable for people unless there was a real threat. But, you know, like with the astrology, I don't know. See, I don't know if these people, these elites, are just following like secret, like Illuminati kind of crazy shit. Like people believe like, oh, they're all like black magicians or sacrificing kids, or you know. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't buy it. And it's kind of funny. I'm wearing a Bathory shirt. I'm talking about sacrifice. But, you know, it's like, I don't know what they believe. But the astrology is some fucking weird time that cat dog cat. They rescind the guidelines when Jupiter goes into Pisces. They bring him back when it goes back into Aquarius. What? And it, as predicted by these astrologers. What? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. So, I don't know. I mean, they're very light mandates in the state where I'm in. I mean, even the mask thing is half. This time around, it is half-ass. It is, because you know, I'll see people not wear masks and stuff places, and nobody's going up to them and trying to get them to put it on anymore and stuff like that. So, and even some of the Jabba Dabba Doo mandates are not like they are in New York or LA. I'll tell you that they're kind of quarter way there to some extent, but not like that. So, but what about the employer thing? Is that still going to be December 28th? Biden decides to rescind the mandate. I don't know, you know, I don't know. You know, I can hope, but you know, that it won't, or like a sunset clause, like once the pandemic is declared over, we don't have to do this anymore, blah, blah, blah. Like, just say something like that. Just give us some hope. I'm not going to be jabbing myself with that shit every couple of months. That's my whole point. That was the whole point of my, like, I have a relative that said that. Very liberal guy. I'm not going to say who it is. He's like a younger relative. It's like, I'm not going to be doing that shit every 3 months. And who the fuck would want to? You know, even the most like ardent pro action Jacksonation Jabba Dabba Doo person would probably tell you, oh, come on, do it every 3 months, 6 months. It's like, yeah, they're trying to, I mean, I know that they want people to do that in some ways, but it's like, I don't think in natural IMM, you know, unity, being more of a factor in the last 2 months. Like, I've seen more articles about that, and looking at the rates and comparing it to that, I'm just like, man, this is a thing, you know. And maybe the first time you get the thing, you know, the bug, it's really bad. Then the second time you might get it, and it might not be as bad because you have a little bit of that thing going on, you know, the T cells and B cells. But anyways, I don't know what's going to happen. I hope for the best. I look forward to 2022 like I did. I hope it's like 2002 or 2011 or any of my more banner years, or even 2019 was pretty good. I started out 2019 going back to college, even though I dropped pretty quickly because it was too much work with my job. 10-hour work days, and then you have to, you know, work on school for 10 hours. Where's the room for everything else, especially the metal, you know? I mean, the music, you know, and everything else that I do. So it's quite a, you know, I want to get back to doing all the stuff I did, and I miss a lot of things about the old normal that I want to get back to. And I think we will, for the most part, in a lot of ways, hopefully. And hopefully that's the harbinger of that, is that date, one calendar date that is almost here. I don't know. You know, will it invalidate everything about astrology if nothing happens on December 28th? Oh, it's even worse. Like, oh, the rates are even worse through the roof with this new variant, alpha, data, beta, epsilon, fucking zap, lambda, fucking whatever, you know, like kills you in 5 seconds, and then, you know, only if you're, I don't know, who the fuck knows what's gonna happen? I don't know, but it's just something to think about, something to look at. You know, think about where your life was in that period. I'm just doing what these astrology podcasters like, what the fuck? There's all sorts of ones I watch. The Baba guy or whatever that's not his real name. Forgot his. I can't pronounce his first name right now, but he does videos like that. Think about your life. He's like talks about like, well, where was your life in 2010 during this period of time when these configurations were happening? It's like, oh shit, when I was unemployed, trying to do a blog and stuff, metal blog, and anyways, I do think about those things. And what were you feeling at the time? What were you feeling May 15th, 2020, or May 13th, 2021 through July 20th, 2021? Like, holy shit, this kicks ass, right? I can go to a bar and drink and not have to like worry about all this crap, I can get hit on at bars or down the street, and go out, go places, I mean, I guess 2009 is closest to the period right now, and the conjunctions and everything, but that was a very troubled year, but it was also a really good year too at the same time. It was like, met a lot of my friends that I still hang out with now. Like I met so many friends in 2009. It's insane. Like I had people, it's like things just changed for me in 2009 more than any other time. I got fired from my job of 8 years, moved in with a different roommate, I started some activities that I really need to finish the goals of that. I'm not going to go into what that is, you probably can guess, but I started to hang out with different types of people, just doing a lot of different stuff. But I got fired from my job, and was depressed a lot of the time too. I don't know, it's the heaven and the hell, the limbo, or whatever, at the same time. But yeah, I mean, once this December thing rolls around, who knows what's going to happen, and I'm hoping that this is going to end. And it kind of puts a hole in the conspiracy theory, because it's like, it's never going to end. They're going to do the Great Reset. Oh my God. It's like, well, why did they do this for that period of time? And then why does it seem so weird that the people predicted this? Who's right, the conspiracy theorists or the astrologers? Both people that are probably discredited by majority of scientific thinkers, of course, but who's right, who's wrong? I don't know, but hopefully the astrologers are right in this case, in this instance, because I definitely will resist any keeping this going. I mean, I think most people, reasonable people, just think this shouldn't last forever. We shouldn't have to wear masks going out in public places forever, in perpetuity, right? Or have these mandates forever, right? I think most reasonable people think that. I don't think they're saying it because they're scared. Well, my relative might like yell at me on Facebook because they still want to wear a mask when they have a cold, or something. They might just like, and it's the same with like the concert people, the concert things. The bands are canceling tours because of like excess restrictions. That's what they say. Excess restrictions, like some of this, like Iron Maiden, like Steve Harris, British Lion canceled a tour because of that, and then Unleash the Archers say that, and there's all these different like things that they have to do and stuff that they don't want to do. So I'm willing to bet some of these band members are kind of against some of them, man. Maybe there's just like, I don't know about that, man. That's really weird. All right, let's cancel the tour. And they're not like the Eric Claptons or the Ian Browns or anybody like that that's like actually against the mandates outwardly, but they maybe privately they might have reservations about it. But the fact of the matter is, it shouldn't last forever. Period. No matter what you say, it shouldn't last forever. It should. I mean, it's just saying it should not. That would be the dystopia that we're talking about. That's the fear. It's not the fear of this being temporary. It's the fear of this permanently being there or evolving into this dystopia of social credit scores and all that stuff. That's what people are afraid of. Address that. If you're talking about conspiracy theories, that's what the whole thing's about. They're scared of this, you know, you're going to be put in this pod. The rich people will be rich and do all their stuff and be hypocrites like they've already been through the whole crisis, by the way. Obama, fucking Biden, Newsom, Lightfoot, de Blasio, fucking Cuomo's, both Cuomo's, all these people. You can make a list. London Breed, which is an awesome name. I still have to say that. Total hypocrites, by the way. So, yeah. So, I mean, as far as like the plan is like we're gonna all be scanned and tracked everywhere we go, blah blah blah. You know, have to live in these like pods and like eat fake meat and all this stuff, and like not have a light, like be isolated or remote jobs. Eventually join the cyborg transhumanist whatever, Whitney Webb or fucking oh shit. I better not talk about those things too much because last time I did, I remember the hammer came down. I'm just saying there's all these predictions and stuff about all this stuff, you know, Austin Fitz and all these people, Corbett, you know, all these people are predicting all this stuff. So like, well, by the way, YouTube, I do not endorse these theories. What I just said was not an endorsement. I don't endorse these people. I'm just talking about them, just discussing them. They predict all this crazy shit, like from science fiction and all this stuff, and you know, it's like when Austin Coppock said it's going to be more like Blade Runner. That doesn't mean it's going to be like 1984. Blade Runner is far better world to live in than 1984. You just got to admit that. So I'll just give you that some thought. Which would you prefer, 1984 or Blade Runner? I mean, Blade Runner's fucked up, right? There's no doubt. But you have a lot more freedom. And there's different systems, there's different societies within the society that you can live in, you know, and not be, you know, as oppressed. But in 1984, it's just all across the line, you know. So I think it's more closer to that, the predictions that really will be come to pass, because there's already so much resistance against the people trying to make it 1984 Animal Farm or Brave New World versus Blade Runner or what's it called, Neuromancer or whatever. You know, it's a different. There's different segments of things. I think it's closer to the cyberpunk thing, which is far superior. Like I did the answer to 1984 is cyberpunk last year, that video, but watch that, and that's about all.